Welcome, welcome, beautiful people. Here's a second quick book review on this book right here, Tuesdays with Morrie. Now, I had never heard of the book before I read it, but I learned that this book right here was written in 1997, and I was lent it by somebody, and they said it was the only book they had ever read from cover to cover. So I figured, either this person's reading taste is a little interesting or it's an amazing book. And it's definitely the latter. Now, what is the book about? Tuesdays with Morrie deals primarily with the relationship between two people. One person named Mitch, a former student of Morrie, who within the past years has gone on, become a journalist, gotten all the material success, but felt that was something off. However, he learns on ABC's Nightline through a segment starring Morrie that Morrie is dying from Lou Gehrig's disease, or ALS. So he decides to go and meet his former teacher, his favorite teacher who he loved and admired. And this kicked off a relationship that started for 14 weeks. And every single Tuesday, Mitch would go see Morrie. And they would talk about a wide variety of subjects: the meaning of life, marriage, love, culture, society, everything in general. And as the relationship progressed, of course, his health continued to worsen. But some of the highlights through all these weeks are little tidbits, such as in one of the earlier chapters, Morrie says that life is a series of opposing forces, a sort of tug of war. In other words, you're going to have a tendency to go in one of two directions. And which one you choose? Not necessarily sure, but there's a struggle, and that's what makes life. Then, in another week, when Morrie decides to tell Mitch about the priorities of life, he said, in quotes, "We as a society act as if we are not going to die. If we did recognize that, we would live the right way." Now, this was in the context of talking about why people strive for great material success, tons of money, and lose sight of the things that are very important. He noted that as human beings, we are short-sighted creatures. Now, this book, from front to back, was a treasure trove of insights. Took me, in fact, on a kaleidoscope of emotions. It took me from very happy and excited at some points to very sad, depressed, and I haven't read a book that made me shed a tear in a while. Yes, I'm a guy who cried. It made me cry. It's a powerful book. And so, what would I give it as a rating? I would give it a 9.5 out of 10. One of the best books I've ever read. I would put it on my top 15, maybe top 10 list. And as far as books about people dying, I mean, it's as good as... there's another book I recommend called The Last Lecture by Randy Pausch. I personally liked this book more, but all those books are wonderful to try to get some inspiration and some change going. Now, is there anything at all I could add to this book to spice it up a little bit? I think all the chapters were great. I think the story was good. I think the talk about the author's life and Morrie's life leading to his death were wonderful bits. I would have liked to see a little more dialogue between the two of them. Yes, each chapter mainly has it, but for some reason I was craving more insight, craving more stimulation through conversation. And that's a rather trifling, rather basic, almost moot point. But that's what I'd like to see. I could give it a 10 out of 10, but in my own selfish way, I'm going to say 9.5. I would highly recommend it to anybody out there who wants to potentially get inspired or think about meaning, purpose, love, and awareness. It is a wonderful read. It's 191 pages. And it goes by very fast. The story grips you. It grips your emotions on all levels. Now, I will end it with what I felt the most important part was. I feel as if we all take our lives for granted. And in this book, there is a term that popped up, and I used it previously. Awareness. Awareness of what's important to you. Awareness of what's important for society. Awareness of what's important to live life. We could all improve upon this. But to me, that is the keynote of this book. Increasing or broadening our awareness. So again, 9.5 for this stellar book, Tuesdays with Morrie. 1997 book, definitely a treasure. With that being said, I'd appreciate it if any of you subscribe or leave a comment. I would like to improve on these videos, and if there's anything I can do for you, let me know. Until then, I hope you guys all have a good one.